Whoa, is that ever soft? Not a good sign. I almost went through that.
If we had known the roof is in the shape that it's in, we wouldn't have bought this house.
What did you notice?
There was multiple layers of shingles.
Nothing in the report on that, by the way.
You really count on the inspection report to do that deep dive for you. In this case, it kind of let us down.
Paul and Jennifer knew the area they wanted to buy. They know what they're looking for. What they missed was not finding the right home inspector. Most people really don't know about a house. And then I run into some homeowners like Paul. He knows a little bit about a few things, and what happens? Toilet's not flushing right. Something's wrong. I'm not getting air behind water. It's the first thing he thinks of. What does he do? He goes to the roof. What does he notice? I don't see a roof vent. Ooh, the roof doesn't look good. First time on the roof. Well, he thought the home inspector did this, right? So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do a homes inspection. I'm gonna bring in the right people, and we're gonna make it right. That simple.
We met, actually, through the internet. We just had so much in common, and we have very similar outlooks on life. And being outdoors is a passion that we share. Paul is very much into mountaineering. It's actually a good neighborhood for running because we're really close to the lakeshore trails. We have a lot of pride of ownership, and we often notice that when people are walking along the street that they'll kind of are always looking at the house.
We looked at houses that were bigger and smaller. Problem with the bigger house is just more to maintain.
This house had a lot of charm. Nice hardwood floors. There's some beautiful plaster crown molding detail.
It's a nice mix between kind of modern and old.
It's very move-in ready, which is what we were really looking for because we're both extremely busy. It's not very far from downtown, but still we can have a little garden. We've got a couple of bird feeders out back too, and I love watching the birds. The owner had gotten it pre-inspected. We flipped through the inspection report and it said, great roof, it's in really good condition.
The summary report said that the front-facing slope had been replaced with shingles expected to last 20 to 25 years. We had a roofing company come in to do a free estimate. He went up on the roof and then noticed multiple layers of shingles. He said, when it fails, it will fail spectacularly.
It's important to have Mike come in to redo the inspection because I don't trust this house. I don't trust that the fundamentals of this house are right.
Jennifer?
Hi, Mike.
I'm Mike, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Paul. Yeah, pleasure to meet you. I love the older homes, I really do. Things I don't like. I don't like that they put the oil over the brick. Pros, it makes it watertight.
Yeah.
Okay? Cons, it traps it. Signs that water's gotten in will push the paint off, just like we see here.
Yeah.
So, what's the mistake here?
It's drywall, first of all.
Right, you're allowed to use drywall, but I don't recommend it. So
You're
that's
allowed
number
to
one.
use drywall on an exterior porch.
It's water-resistant drywall, it's green drywall. So they vented the area trying to allow exhaust within that attic zone because it's going to get so hot up there.
Yeah.
The skylight, all condensation, we can see it's running everywhere. So the whole thing has got a ton of moisture in there.
As far as I recall, there was nothing mentioned in the report about the skylight. We discovered one day we looked out, there was a pretty good-sized puddle on the floor of the porch. When I first walked up here, come on down here, the cedar's beautiful. It looks really good. It's definitely new. It's not part of the age of the home. I still need to go up there. I don't see a cap on the clay flute chimney. That's not in the report. The bricks have been parged, which usually is a sign that there was an issue with the tuck pointing or the brick falling apart.
When you're just walking up the walk, you can see that front part of the roof that was freshly shingled, and it's like, oh, the roof looks like it's in great shape.
That's really the only side that a potential purchaser is going to see. So you're really relying on a home inspection.
Okay, come on in and we'll see the rest of the house. We've got a nice-sized dining room in here.
And what do we have here?
This was a pantry when we first looked at it. Now it's just kind of a general kind of cleaning closet.
Was this open when the inspector came in?
No.
No.
Paul had to tear out all the drywall that was in here.
Why?
because when we moved in, we realized that the toilet didn't flush particularly well.
Did you have any issues at all with venting?
We thought maybe that the vent was plugged. I went up on the roof to try and determine what the problem was. Is the vent plugged?
What did you notice?
I couldn't really determine which was the roof drain for the actual roof itself and what was the vent. The biggest problem that you could see was that there was multiple layers of shingles.
Nothing in the report on that, by the way.
In the wintertime, you can really feel the cold air.
There's quite a draft
Yeah.
in various parts of the house.
I guess there is.
Yeah.
This is an old home.
Yeah, oh,
They didn't even know about
Yeah,
really
that's true.
insulation.
That's true.
Let me tell you, they put a couple of pieces of newspaper in the attic and they
True.
said, you're fine.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
want to insulate this, spray it. I see signs of moisture, but they're minor. They're really minor. This is in great shape. You start with the little things.
Yep.
Move your downspouts. If
Yep.
they're into the ground, are they in the ground?
No, they've been disconnected.
All right, so disconnected, away from, get any gardens away from the outside of the house that are too close to it, graded away. You start with all this. I really don't like the electrical through it. I'm seeing all kinds of joints here.
Yeah.
You didn't do this. Tell me you didn't do this.
Oh, God. There was lots of kind of wire up here that didn't go anywhere that Paul just kind of pulled down.
And there was not in the report about the concern that this was possibly done without a permit. Address what you can see, right? This is open, fix all this.
And you really count on the inspection report to do that deep dive for you, because you don't have the opportunity when you're just house hunting. So you really rely on that, and you need that. In this case, it kind of let us down.
I read in the report he did not go into the attic, is that right?
That's correct.
Correct.
Right away, I would have looked at that report and go, he didn't go in the attic. Why didn't he go in the attic? It's right there.
We were moving in, we noticed that the toilet wasn't really flushing. Went up on the roof and then noticed multiple layers of shingles, at least 3 that we can see.
I don't trust the house anymore.
Got pot lights galore in this house.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
So this is the master bedroom.
Where's your bed?
We've actually moved the bed to the back of the house just because of the construction across the street. It's so noisy.
Okay, so it is a man-made skylight. They're relying on caulking, and you can't rely on caulking. That's not the way to do this. Floor registers here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to assume that we have an overhang on the porch.
Yes, you do.
I also see a small dip here, so that means the wall downstairs is approximately where my boot is.
Yeah.
I do see a dip in the structure. I'd like to know more about, is that being good enough? Because based on the age of the house, odds are, over the years, it's gotten rotten. So these are things that I would have noted. You know, you want to look at the structure. I'm gonna go up on your roof. I'm gonna put on a harness just for safety, and I'll take a look at it and I'll tell you what I see.
Sure.
Other than that, I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
So I'll get
sounds
back
like
to you.
it.
Okay.
Great.
All
Thank
right.
you so much, Mike.
A little bit of deterioration. Now, as I'm walking around on here, I notice that this roof feels spongy. From the bottom, I can see that the curbing here was built up. Look at the vent. I don't see a vent stack anywhere else. I know there's a bathroom approximately here. I know the kitchen's just over here. That tells me this is the roof stack. This is not what we're used to seeing. I'll explain. Next door, there's a vent stack. There's a vent stack. You see how they both are? I look at this and go, okay, was this broken? Okay, this is really not the way to do this. If for any reason this vent were to be blocked by leaves and snow, and believe me, it will stop the airflow of the venting pipes and cause a blockage in the draining system. Dude, it looks good though, doesn't it? Wow, there's a problem. So somebody shingled over the front, covered the back. They didn't see the back. Homeowners don't see the back. What's wrong with these shingles? They're curling up. That tells me there's more than one layer of shingles. There's 4 layers of shingles here. Not a good sign at all. These shingles themselves are not going to last much longer. Whoa, is that ever soft? Holy cow, not a good sign. I almost went through that. I think that's soft because we have a lot of rot issue underneath it. No, everything I see I take a shot of. It's surface mold is simply because moisture was trapped on this side, and it grew some surface mold. We can easily clean that. Love that stained glass. This is the wonderful bathroom that was renovated probably in the last 10 years. It's not bad. And that's not insulated. I could see right below us here is that cupboard in the kitchen. I could look up. So right below, I could see there was no insulation in the wall whatsoever. So whoever did the renovations here, once again, did a facelift. We know the wall downstairs, the wall of the house, is approximately right here where my flashlight is. The floor joists are more than likely cantilevered, so what we're doing is picking up structure from another structure over top of a wall. So that's called cantilever. Whoo! There's some heat for you. Look at that. We can see the shingles right on the other side of it. You can see the black right there. Okay, there's signs of moisture, signs of moisture. I don't like seeing the vapor barrier right there. Putting a vapor barrier up is going to trap moisture, and it's not a good idea. I don't know who did it, but it needs to come down. I'm going down where it's cool. Oh, you can use drywall outside, providing you use the right drywall, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't last. Don't do it. I'm a little concerned about this column. I have to be honest. I've been looking at it a few times now. It's as if the whole thing is shifting left. Because the roof was leaking from the skylight, I mean, all that moisture is getting down to that beam. And with the post leaning, it's not if it's going to fall, it's when it's going to fall. Look at this. This is what we call a key to the meter. This key cannot be broken. Someone touched it, and the people at, say, the Electrical Safety Authority are not going to like that. And they actually have the legal right to go back and find out who did it. This is a bad sign. But you know what? There's enough on the inside of the house that tells me there was a lot done without permits. Was that in the report? No. Mr. Bennett.
Oh, Mike. How are you? You look relaxed.
Lots of renos. It looks like the whole place was gutted. We're not going to go too far into this because it is an old home, double brick construction. Let's start this way.
All right.
I'll show you downstairs first.
Okay. Another small basement.
Yeah, it's one of these ones that I get a sore neck and a sore back and a couple of bumps on the head.
I can stand.
Yeah, oh, look, right between the floors. I kind of like that. All right, new furnace used to be here. They have a pump, no floor drain due to the actual drainage being above grade. This house is in around 1912.
Sewers were not as deep?
Yes.
Okay.
So the sewers on the street were not as deep.
Right.
And basements were never designed to be
livable
a
spaces,
space.
right.
It was a utility room.
Right.
I see a panel that was done, all nice and proper, but nothing's really marked. Okay. These are things that tell me there was no permit. Let's have Andrew check to see if there's electrical permit pulled on this house.
Okay.
I'll take you to the front porch, walk you around the side, and then tell you what I found on the roof.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Obviously, the skylight leaked and it was damaged, and someone came in later and put up new drywall.
Oh, they didn't prime it?
No, of course not.
Right.
Open this up completely.
Okay.
I want to see everything to do with this. I want to see the structure beaming behind this.
Yeah.
We're going to have to bring in, obviously, Alex to add some insulation.
Okay.
We'll go to the front lawn. I can tell we have way too many layers of shingles on this house. As well as the back flat roof, way too many layers. I have a funny feeling it could be over stone gravel tar mix.
Yeah. Oh,
it may have just taken off the stone and gone over it.
So what are we doing, opening the roof?
Yeah.
Are we talking about reframe?
I don't know. It's an old house.
Wow.
They did address a lot of things on their own, which was really good. I said, did you take the downspouts out and direct them away from the house? They said yes.
Oh, good.
Let me show you.
Okay.
What's wrong with this?
Everything?
Well, it's running to the side of the house, which brings it right back to the foundation.
Ice brings it that way.
It's not a sealed foundation. So, let's see if we can't get convince Steve to reroute that left across the underneath the soffit there, down and out to the backyard.
Okay.
And if there is any problems, don't phone me. Just kidding. Call me.
I will, buddy.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, man. I don't see sun anywhere.
That's a good thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's not so hot.
Hey, listen, man, if you're not nervous, I'm not going to be nervous.
Here's a roof that's been stripped. Here's a roof that hasn't. There's 4 layers of shingles here.
If we had known that, you know, the roof is in the shape that it's in, we wouldn't have bought this house.
No.
You know, if it had clearly said that in the home inspection, we would have said no.
So, 2 main things that Mike did mention to me right off the bat, and we have access to the pot lights here, and you can actually see the wires here. They're not encased within the box, and Moretta together. They're throughout the whole basement here.
So no connectors?
No connectors at all. So, new panel. Look, it's like you're psychic or something. You knew there was a new panel down here, right?
They labeled some of the dedicated things.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's no sticker saying that it's been checked by the Electrical Safety Authority. I've already checked with ESA. There is no permit. So,
Right.
brand new panel, cash job.
You
That's
knew
all I
it.
can say. Junction box is right here. Why, if the panel's right there?
Right.
Why couldn't these wires be long enough to reach there? Like,
You're nervous.
yeah.
You being nervous makes me a little
Right off
nervous.
the top, we need more height. So you're gonna.
Good luck with that, because look at this. I disappear if I stand up straight.
You look better like that.
Yeah, thanks.
What was wrong here was they had some open air connections. They had Moretted the wires together and just taped it. I'm gonna put a junction box, put my wires, make my connections inside, put a cap on it, and it's all fine.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is pull the shingles off, which will give us an idea what the sheeting looks like.
Okay, well, that'll give us time. I'll let you guys work up there, and as soon as you guys are done, so you're not dropping stuff on our heads, we'll start tearing off everything from underneath and start looking around.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll meet you up there.
This roof has had some work done to it. Obviously, the house is much older than plywood sheeting. This is sort of the first sign. We've got some wood damage. This is right at the corner of the existing skylight, so to speak. What I'm looking at here actually is the original board sheeting underneath the plywood. There's definitely an issue with water penetration here. You can see the rot of the wood. This is the same area where we see some bubbling of the paint and such in the inner ceiling. That's been happening for a long time. $19.28. Price, 2 cents.
This was just holding water like a bathtub. Well, it looks like something's holding water here. I don't know where this was. It looks like the vapor barrier is on the wrong side here. I don't know what this was. Let's empty the water out. Well, that's definitely holding water. Katie?
Yeah.
Grab that in there. Nothing has ever been done properly here. When they redid this roof at one point, they shoved insulation back, it fell back, cold air got in there, made the room cold. I am gonna spray foam this and make sure that they keep toasty warm in that front bedroom. But before I get there, I have a lot of work to do. Condensed milk, 31 cents. Oh. It's too bad it's so brittle.
Those papers are as old as you.
Pardon me? Adam, down. Okay, Kate, clean up for the day. We're out of here. We're gonna watch you clean up.
I don't think you liked that one too much. And now I get to clean up by myself. While everyone else is sitting down and drinking water and giggling.
Well, we have all the lumber here to start putting this roof back together, which will go pretty quick. We're ready for it.
See, we're gonna tarp it for the rain?
Yeah, just tarp it up for the weekend.
I have a roof off, I need to tarp it. I have a little bit of electrical in there. They ran a plug and some pot lights in there that I want to protect. We're gonna keep them in there until we have the electricians back. Everything's gotta be tarped off to protect the house at this point. So Steve, I thought roofers were afraid of the rain.
It's not gonna rain.
I don't see sun anywhere.
That's a good thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's not so hot.
Okay, well, what do you want to do? You want to tear this off today?
Well, what I wouldn't mind doing is opening up a section of the flat roof just to see what we're gonna get into.
Okay, because you know what I'm worried about, it's a flat roof, right? We open it up, and where are we gonna stop water from coming in if we can't get to it today? So that's why I'm worried about opening this roof today.
I'm a little worried about where this drain actually goes as well.
What were you saying about that drain? You think it actually ties into the stack?
Well, there's no stack visible on the roof, so I think whoever did the last roof cut the stack and then used the stack as the drain.
You're absolutely right. They cut the stack down and used, oh my God. That's wrong.
That's wrong.
In an older home, there's usually one air vent that extends above the roof line. This ensures that there is always air behind water when you flush the toilet, drain the sink, or tub. Okay, open up a hole and let me know what you find, because whatever you find, I have to fix, right?
Absolutely.
Before you can roof this. Now, the first layer peeled up way too easily, but after that, it was just layer after layer of dusty old tar and gravel. What a mess. How far do you want to go with this at this point, then?
Literally, we have a day just ripping this.
But I mean, if this is the worst part, is we just have to take off 5 layers of tar and gravel?
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I don't really want to get into structure here.
But we're also at the high point of the roof.
Right.
I think it's probably quite different over there.
Right where the makeshift drain is, you mean? Now that Steve's to task down there, he's dealing with that issue. He's going to clean up that lower roof. Before he starts on this, I just want to take a look at this chimney. And I can definitely see I have to do some flashing on the top of it. I guarantee this is leaking. Once we rip this roof off, I can actually rip the flashing off, take a better look at the base of the chimney. I'll cap the flue and just get a rain hat on it and call it a day on this one, hopefully. And I'll double check the other chimney down there, because that one is in way worse shape than this one is. I thought we might see some signs of rot. A little bit of dry rot here and there, but it's gonna be fine. I got the guys to pick up some 1/2-inch plywood. We're gonna resheet this roof just to give it some strength. There's a little bit of a bounce in it. By resheeting over the original board, it'll actually help strengthen it a lot. I wanted to tear this whole thing off today and just get the whole thing redone, which we cannot do now. It's gonna rain today, it's gonna rain tomorrow. Steve and I have agreed we're gonna tear off half of this roof and get it covered. We have to protect the house.
I haven't been counting the buckets, but I think it took a little more than 50. Just way too many, you know, if you count it just drags on and on, so just get it done.
Okay, this is in way better shape than I thought. We don't actually have to worry about any structure. So now we have to deal with venting.
I think we might be doing new aluminum soffit, so we can do vented panels, and then we can put some roof vents in.
The reason we're strapping this is we want the roof to breathe. We'll get our framing in first and take out that belly. Right now you can see that it's actually pitching that way. I thought we might see some signs of rot, but it's gonna be fine. I got the guys to pick up some 1/2-inch plywood. By resheeting over the original board, it'll actually help strengthen it a lot. That's really funny. It goes nowhere. Too funny. 3 biggest headaches out of the way. I have the front porch ripped off, I have the roofs taken care of, and I have my electrical test done. Time to call in the big guy.
So you got some reading material.
I like to call it insulation from the 20s.
There was actually insulation,
It was,
believe it or not.
I want to spray foam that void, getting at least as much spray foam as I can in between each wall stud.
What about the beam?
The beam is dry rotted out, so I got to replace it. Unfortunately, though, Mike, we have 2 pillars that have been bowed out.
You're gonna have to support his side too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You may be able to reuse the columns, but I'd be prepared with new steel columns just in case.
Will do.
Knob and tube, how far does that go?
It only goes to this switch right here, which we can replace right away.
Okay.
You want to get them?
Yeah,
I think this is.
like this.
It looks like there was a fire or something back here.
A little dirty. You should see the roofers.
So
Yeah.
4 layers of the stone and tar, okay, 4 layers. Now, we are in a construction zone, so I'd want you to put your helmet on, and Damon's got one for
you.
Right.
There you go.
Thank you.
First, I'll tell you about your attic. Now, I took a look at the attic, and there is insulation in the attic. The vapor barrier's on the wrong side. They put the vapor barrier on the top, incorrect. But you're going to stay down here because
I'm afraid of heights.
You're afraid of heights. I hear you're a mountain climber.
Yeah. Better you than me. Good luck. Have fun.
Now, you can see how thick the roof is. It's right here, right? There's how thick it is here. When it changes the structure that much and bellies the roof like that, you can see all the shims that we have to do to create that perfect slope out. That's not what you want. So the way we're doing it now is to actually crib up, and that's what we wanted to do. And what that's going to do is, as long as we tie into the soffit, which I want to do, have some roof vents on this side, it'll allow us to have air underneath the roof, because we must breathe from one side. You remember the drain you had?
Yeah.
That's your vent stack. It would freeze in the winter and block off your airflow to all your plumbing, so it would choke off your toilet, your sink, everything.
Is that why you came up here originally? What brought you up on here?
It was the original problem was to check out the vent stack because the toilet wasn't flushing properly.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they pulled the roof on this side, re-sheeted over top of it just to make it stronger, even though we have beautiful old hardwood underneath that. And then they're going to do the shingles, but there's no sense because you can see just how black everything is. Yeah. That will be done last.
Yeah.
At least your structure's okay.
For, almost 100 years old.
I was very excited, I got to tell you.
Yeah. Actually, your structure's okay here. Let me show you something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to your front porch.
All right.
Oh, come right up. Okay, so I asked them to open it up. I asked, I want to see what's in there. I asked them to take the front off, and sure enough, we found the wood is a little rotten.
Yeah.
So that means that beam must be replaced.
Okay.
Now, we did have a slight tilt with your column on both sides. So that means new beam. We might as well go new columns, and that's exactly what we're going to do. See what else we see?
Knob two.
Knob and two.
I'm sorry, I don't know very much about electrical, so how do you see the knob and tube?
That's the type of wiring that you see right there.
Okay.
So just the way it's tied into the box is wrong. Now that leads into the switch on the inside of the house.
Okay.
Any questions?
You mentioned when we were in the backyard, there's the 4 layers, and then they would never take them off, but at some point, you have to, don't you?
Well,
As a
there's
homeowner,
limits to the amount that you're allowed to have on the roof.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to rules, roofers are supposed to tell you, there's too much up there,
Yeah.
we need to take it off.
Well, it's just surprising over, 9 years or something, no roofer ever said, you know what, we've got to take some of this off.
Money seems to dictate that. The roofer
Yeah.
will say, you know what, we should strip this, but if we just go over it, we'll save you thousands of dollars. And then, the homeowners go, you can save me money, just it's not going to cave in? Oh, no, it won't cave in. We're going to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And now that, nowadays, like I said, you want to make sure it breathes underneath it. So I'm sure he'll explain to you what we're doing.
Yeah. I'm not a home inspector. I'm fairly handy, but I could clearly see that there was an issue with the existing roof. I mean, it's plain
It's
plain as
ridiculous
day.
that wasn't caught.
Yeah.
Absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Keep smiling.
We will.
I'll see you soon.
Okay, great.
Any questions, you know who to ask.
Okay.
Him, then he'll come to me.
Realized today that our boards are good, our structure is good, it was great. We vented it, sheeted it, and now Steve's got some felt paper, he's got some felt board, and that's all for fire protection. When he torches on his membrane, he's gonna want a fire protection against the wood. These are old homes. You're gonna have a lot of really dry wood and a lot of combustible materials that when you put a flame to, it's just gonna wanna go poof. Chimney's being parged right now. I have to continue with my shingles. What I wanted to do was hit the base. The actual chimney itself is in great shape. The flashing was actually helping erode the rest of the mortar in between the brick because it was allowing water to come in. The flashing was not up to par. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna re-parge it. I'm gonna get Steve to re-flash it, and then he can do his shingles. I have to replace this beam today. So I'm gonna take off all the excess weight. we have half the roof structure already built. What I had to do is do a temporary support because I have a beam from the neighbor side actually coming into our beam. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sandwich that and bring this back to one piece for both. Okay, you good to go?
What we've done up to this point is basically create an airspace over top of the existing roof. We're gonna have open air intake at the soffits and roof vents on the roof for exhausting that air.
You can see just how dirty everything is. Look at your vegetation, your flowers. These are just beautiful.
It literally looks as though there was a fire.
We've got brand new lines that are coming into this box. The lights that are outside are clearly knob and tube, so since I've got brand new cables here, somewhere, whether it's here or whether it's on the top of the ceiling, there is an illegal junction box. So we're gonna have to find where that illegal junction box is, open it up, and correct from this location to the outside lights. So what'd you find?
Where it looks like there was the holiday plug out there. You got new Romex coming in here and old, looks like knob and tube going back out.
Now, do you have this crowned, Adam? Yep. Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is put it on an angle, Adam. We're gonna have to kick it back like that.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So, Kate, you gotta tilt the top out to me, right? There you go. That's gotta go to you, right?
Yeah. It's good right about there.
Okay, 1 sec, let's tilt it up.
Should I hit it with my hammer?
Yeah, if you can, for sure. Attach these rafters to the beam. Attach the beam to the posts. And now let's start the rest of our structure getting the skylights in, okay? Good job. Have the granulated surface going on now. They went with a lighter material to not give it so much heat into the roof. Steve's guys are also tearing off all the eaves troughs right now, putting new on, and eventually get drop all the way around the side here. Not only is the roof better, but we've actually fixed a big problem here, which was the stack. Instead of water running to our fake drain, it's now going to be picked up by trough that's on the side of the house. Trough picks it up, brings it to the back, and does not bring it into the house and out.
This home being roughly 100 years old, ventilation wasn't really something they thought about, so it's something we sort of have to do after the fact when we're redoing these roofs. We restructured the roof to create an airspace above the old roof. It's going to act as a better thermal break in terms of the insulation's R value.
We have 3 inches of spray foam eco on the outside bedroom wall. The rest of the house is not insulated that well. It's double brick construction. It's going to hold out some cold. So we did what we could. When we tore this down, we had the opportunity to get at least 3 inches of spray foam on the bottom of the floorboards because we were able to through the void, and then we were able to get it on the wall that will actually help with any kind of cold air getting up and hitting the floor, stopping any kind of breeze and stopping them from having cold feet. I want Steve to actually finish the roof today. We're gonna get the skylights in, obviously, for him to finish that roof. And we're gonna actually start cladding this whole thing.
installing the asphalt shingles, the vents. We're gonna flash the chimney, metal flashing on the other chimney as well. And that's basically the last few final stages on this roof.
The other thing we're doing today is we're gonna pull all these boards off. We're gonna take the vapor barrier off. It's on the wrong side. They have the vapor barrier on the top. The vapor barrier should be on the bottom. Before the ceiling goes on, they put a vapor barrier, then they put their insulations on top of that. We're actually gonna add blown-in insulation on top of the insulation that's down here. These posts are about 80 years old. The pillar is sort of kicked out a bit, which is no big deal. The pillar's still fine. The post is actually leaned out. I have to repair it. I have to bring it back in. So when I started looking at the post, you can actually see rot. 80 years of weather on this post has actually rotted parts of it out. Wow. Okay, so let's get the other posts. Grab me a 4-foot level and a 2-foot level, please. You know, we'll be actually totally covered here, right? Okay, you're almost there now. Okay, so let's get the level on this. Getting near the end of the job. We're actually at the front porch now, just trimming it up. We're getting it ready for painters who are coming in today. We have Steve here finishing off the roof, putting the skylights in today, getting the flashing done, getting it actually shingled today so we can actually finish that off. Well, I have the electricians here today. They're just touching things up. They got to hang a couple of lights that we took down to fix the electrical, and they have to put a plate up. We have cleanup. We actually killed the front lawn, so we're reseeding, we're raking it, everything. We're just tidying up the whole house at this point, just making it perfect.
Homeowners here had a rain barrel before. It was positioned over there, and it was made for tight access in this alleyway. So we got a new one here that actually has a flat back. We've got a diverter on this downpipe. We can either divert the water into the rain barrel or divert it out into the garden.
The skylight, all condensation, we can see it's running everywhere. So the whole thing has got a ton of moisture in it, right? Because it's pushing the paint off.
I did not anticipate having to put all of that money into things that should have been fine in the first place.
Oh, it's like a brand new old porch.
Yeah, you like it?
I like that.
It actually looks like almost the identical porch, but a lot better.
Talk about heritage, eh?
Yeah,
Who says we
absolutely.
can't make it look old? So
Yeah.
we're done, we're good?
We're all good. We're good. We had a little bit of electrical issues that we've dealt with, very minor. Frank was very happy about that. Those are dealt with. We have our 40 in the attic.
Okay, so we got the electrical taken care of, knob and tube on the front porch, back issues, ventilation, we're really good on that.
Oh, the
roof.
That flat roof is so ventilated, it's going to breathe forever. It's really well done. So
That's what happens when you clear the lungs. You know?
Exactly.
I can breathe.
You know what I was happy about? That we didn't have to restructure that whole roof. That's what I was really happy about.
I got rather lucky here.
Yeah.
Homeowner's been good?
They're great. Yeah, they just came back off vacation. I think they're rested.
Did we reshingle the front part of the roof?
Not the front. We didn't need to. The previous person tried to sell this house, only did the front of the roof.
Which is maybe one of the home inspectors said, oh, your roof is okay.
What did he do? Did he look at it from the street? There is no way he was up there. Otherwise, he would have realized it.
Let's go get him.
All right, man.
Well, hello.
Well, hello.
Welcome to the secret garden.
It is the secret garden. It's on the door. Jennifer, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Oh, it's clean. It is. It's the last time I was here, this was like the dirtiest backyard on the street. Not to mention the construction guys across the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit of a war zone.
It was funny. We had people vacuuming your front lawn this morning.
Like they vacuumed everything.
And people are laughing, right? But it's what you have to do.
Did you get looks on the street? Like people going,
vacuumed your plants, vacuumed the trees.
Awesome.
Well, you know that they pulled up the roof, that they actually picked up the roof line and created an air pocket underneath. That we want that air venting right underneath the whole roof. So you no longer have a drain on the roof that was actually your vent stack. The vent stack now comes up through the roof and is properly brought up.
Good news.
I'm curious to know, is everything draining properly now?
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Is that right?
Yeah,
So that was
that's great.
for sure.
We rerouted the water the way we wanted. What we did want it to do was bring it down, make it across the top of the fence, bring it down, and water your garden, not your foundation.
So then the flat roof is now sort of angled this way a little bit, so it's all kind of going into
Towards your eaves troughs.
Oh.
Introducing the proper ventilation combined with the proper slope, we're solving a lot of other problems. We're not having the roof basically rot from the inside out. With the pitch on the roof, the proper pitch, it's going to allow the roof to drain properly, and it's going to, you know,
Keep the basement dry.
Exactly. make a big difference there.
Had Hydro come in, put a proper clip on there, because it was the first thing I noticed that clip was hanging off, which told me somebody played with the meter. Because that's why they put this on there. It's just the dummy clips to keep the dummies away from it. Let's go play with the construction guys out front. It's going to be a little noisy, but we'll show you the front porch.
Used to it by now.
Okay. Okay, look at the front porch.
Lovely.
You know what this is to me? This is a brand new old porch.
Yep.
And I love saying it that way because it's not an old brand new porch. It's a brand new old porch. And that's the idea, is to keep it looking the heritage that it has there. And if you notice, there's no drywall on the roof. Let's go up there.
Wow, what an improvement.
Your beam was all rotten.
Yeah.
It's been fully pulled out. A brand new beam has been put in. And what I love about this is these are new posts, which still looks old. I love this.
We love that.
Carrying the line up, you notice how he boxed around it, eh?
Yeah.
And what this does is hides that joint in between the two houses where it was more on your side than their side.
Yeah.
Proper lights.
Oh,
Two
look
new
at that.
skylights, and
Nice.
still angled so it allows that light to come inside the house.
great.
Because that side looks so great, this side just wasn't working. I mean, it didn't tie into anything. It was all on its own. We decided to mimic what we did on that side, and we matched it on this side just to sort of tie it all in together and actually give you a little bit more privacy. It's like your own little Eden in here.
Well, now that the front porch has all been fixed up and it actually looks really nice, and even with the lattice at the sides, it seems as though it's more private than it was before. So it'll be nice that we can actually sit out there, you know, enjoy the sunset once the construction's over.
New insulation in the attic. We made sure we created the 5/8 drywall on top of the old wall. Plastered it, brought up in 2-foot length pieces because it had to go through the attic access.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about what the guys did in the attic. I think, you know, it'll make a big difference for our heating bills in the winter.
Now, by buttering the outside, that's Alex, spray for me, and that's the thermal break that I'm talking about. No longer is the attic of the front porch and your bedroom the cold zone. Now we've got the warm zone on the inside of the house, the cold zone where it's supposed to be. Thermal breaking is what we're looking for, separating that hot from being cold and stopping that cold draft from coming in.
Probably Paul is more happy about it because his side of the bed is actually the side where the floor was really cold. So he's probably a little bit happier about it.
We're happy?
Yes, we're very happy. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Very much.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks for
Enjoy.
everything, Damon.
Paul,
No worries.
nice to meet you. Nice people. It's good helping good people.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it. We really
Keep
do.
smiling.
We will.